And so she's here tonight. Now, one of these days, when I get capitalized, I am going to use the money to make sure you have your books, and you'll have them free of charge because you already paid for them. Same goes for all the rest of you here. Now, Eric, can you put there it is. Coming back to this, let me tell you what my goals are now. I have the book, it's done. The minute I publish it, the minute I print it, the vultures are going to swoop down with all the might of Galamas' estate and with all the resources at their beck and call, and they're going to bury me. They'll probably put me in jail for copyright infringement because I'm going to resist that. I'm not going to do it, and I won't. And I will easily be. I'm a perfect candidate for being in contempt of court. I'm just a perfect candidate for that. I detest judges, and I detest lawyers even more. I don't believe in lawyers, and I don't believe in the law. Victoria, I remember telling your mother one time. I told her, I said, the justice system is actually a mechanism for compounding injustice. If you define injustice as crime to which there's no recourse. Somebody steals your battery, you get recourse from the criminal? Hell no. You're lucky if the guy gets caught. And if he gets caught, he gets off easy, and the rest of the public, as well as you, has to chip in and pay for the cops that arrested him and the jail sentence and the food he had and the clothes he wore until finally the $25 or $100 or whatever. Martin, how much are batteries today? $50. A $50 battery, that's the dislocation of property, not to mention the aggravation and damages, is now compounded into something like maybe $50,000, and everybody has to pay for it. Can you get recourse? No. Oh, then by definition, that's injustice. Crime to which there's no recourse. Stupid judges. You know what they say to you? I've had it happen. You sound like Hitler. And I said, how in the hell does that follow from what I just said? Well, you speak dogmatically. No, I don't, ma'am. A person is a dogmatist if they're unyielding in their opinion, but the opinion is anchored upon mysticism. I'm not a mystic. I'm firm. By your loose definition here, you would have to say that Newton and Galileo and Jesus Christ himself were dogmatists. Stupid. You haven't learned the first lesson of philosophy, which is semantic precision. You haven't probably got the foggiest idea of the scientific method. You never heard of Occam's razor. You don't know what simplicity is. You don't seek for things that are higher than what is seen, and you have no grasp whatsoever of morality. So, here's my plan. In order to get the book out and into your hands, and to have the electronic files out of my possession into safe hands, I got to create a P2 company. I've already got it in existence now. But now we got to go out and get shareholders. I got to fund that. I got to fund it in a real big way. I mean, the optimum situation is at $10 million. $10 million. You earn 3 or 4% off that. Just on a conservative basis, you're making a lot of money there. I can pay for a lot of help and pay well for it. What's more, with those kind of funds, I can get the hell out of this damn country, and I can go to the home of my ancestors in Ireland. I'm a published author. There's no income tax to me on any revenues that I take in from selling any books. I can prove I have an ISBN number, I have a book. They want their golden geese to return. Ireland does. Their golden geese are their wonderful men, the greatest men in the world, and they've been kicked out by the British over centuries and persecuted. They're all over the world, and I'm one of them. We're lyrical, we're eloquent, we're powerful, we're beautiful. So that's where I'd probably go. Or maybe even to Hong Kong, communist though it may be. I don't know where I'll go, but I ain't going to be here, not if I'm going to be harassed by these bastards. I might have a residence here, and I got to go underground. You don't give to dogs what is holy, Jesus said. That's a commandment. I recommend it to you. Do not give to dogs what is holy. If they ask you for an answer, you say, I told Johnny to his face. I told him to his face. He wanted an answer from me. And I said, no, I'm not going to give it to you. I don't give to dogs what is holy. I don't cast my pearls before swine lest they turn and trample them under feet and turn and render me asunder. I'm commanded not to do that. And he says, you calling me a dog? And I says, you're damn right I am. You're worse than a dog. You're a dog that returns to its own vomit. You're worse off than if you had never heard of Galamos before. You disgust me. He said to me, if you weren't so old and I weren't so peaceful, I'd take you on physically right now. And I says, you want to do it? Let's go right now. Come on, let's go outside. He wouldn't do it. Do not give to dogs what is holy. Do not cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn and render you asunder. That is what has happened to me. I gave to some of the people in the market a great presentation. They have turned against me. They're trying to destroy me. Here's this lawsuit right now, wiping the literary executorship out, getting rid of me, and into the bargain, accusing me of being a Holocaust denier. Therefore, an enemy of the people. You know, whatever happened to the First Amendment? Whatever happened to the First Amendment? Freedom of speech? You know what? That's something our ancestors wanted. The Jews have taken it away from us. Not anybody else. Make no mistake of that. Hitler was totally right about that. So, there it is. I need to fund the P2 company. At the present moment, I calculated it. I have spent of my own money, in addition to $505,000 that's been invested in my operation here by Mr. White here and the other man, and myself, I've put in as much. So throw in another $225,000 and the amount is going up. I quit my business 7 years ago. I was well paid. I was in the estate planning business. I had a great clientele. I'd been in the business 33 years. I was honored all over the United States. I gave speeches. I talked to 450 agents up in San Francisco one time. I had a great career. But I also remembered, since I was born and raised a Catholic and then later on in a very fundamentalist denomination in Christendom, I studied the scriptures and I still live by them, because even though they were said for all the wrong reasons, they are very great statements. Jesus said, you cannot serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be bound to the other and you will despise the other. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. So I said, well, hell, I've been denied the wealth and the resources that Galamos wanted me to have access to as his literary executor. That was his reward to me for all my years of durability and loyalty to him. And these bastards have stepped in behind the aegis of the law and the California probate statutes and stiffed me. Now they're trying to remove me altogether with this lawsuit. In the meantime, what the hell am I going to do? If I don't do this, nobody's going to do it. I know that. There isn't anybody smart enough that knows the theory well enough to be able to do what I've done. It can't even come close. Can't even come close. They haven't got the fire, the zeal, the messianic spirit that I've got. I'm unique. So I said, can't serve two masters. Bye-bye, estate planning. Julie, I'll try to raise as much money as I can. To the extent that I don't, we'll pay for it out of our own substance. You remember the story I told you about the widow? Okay, let me share it. You want to know it? About the widow? The widow with two mites? Jesus takes his disciples. They go to the temple. It's during Passover, or one of the great religious holidays, but I think it is Passover. And he is interesting. He takes his disciples and they sojourn by the treasury. Now they got big fat cat Jews, Sadducees, and Pharisees, but mainly Sadducees. They were the rich boys. They're coming in, making a big show, tossing in gold shekels. Lots of money. Prodigal with their giving. Making a big show with the hypocrites. And Jesus told his disciples, observe this carefully. After a while, a little poor widow happened to buy. And unnoticed by anyone except Jesus, she dropped into the treasury 2 mites. Now, I don't know what that is worth in today's currency, but it's like pennies. And Jesus turned, the lesson that was made, and he said to his disciples, behold, this woman has given more than all the others, because they gave out of their abundance, and she gave of her substance all that she had. I told Julie, I said, are you prepared as my wife to live in a manner that's consistent, if necessary, with that widow? And my wife said, of course, you always have. That's why I married you. I'm not going to be married to a woman who's a sunshine patriot and a summer soldier. You got to love my soul as I love yours. I think it's almost romantic to lose everything I had, the beautiful neighborhood I live in, the tremendous lifestyle we've had, seeing Europe 14 times, traveling around the world, teaching our daughter for what? Everything I knew. I'm 67. You're 64. Why not have a big change in our lifestyle? I wouldn't be a bit troubled because I'm so Jesusian to going down and walking around with the homeless in Ocean Beach if I have to. Because I'll tell you one thing, I ain't going to compromise, not anything. And you know something? After 7 years, I did it. You know how big this achievement is? I'm going to tell you how big it is. Next to Columbus's achievement, it's the single grandest achievement in the history of the human species. Because without this book and what it took to get it done, there is no hope for the survival of man. As Columbus said, my theory is the difference between survival and extinction of the human species. So you're looking at a guy who has the single largest, most important, significant achievement in the history of mankind. That's how big this is. That's how big this is. Now, is that worth sacrificing? No, investing all of my substance? I'm there now. I've only got probably another, I think I can get it. I got 10 acres of property up in Apple Valley. I'm dumping that stuff for a song at $20,000 cash. All right, my overhead, the office and everything else runs about 10 grand a month. So I just bought 2 more months. I've got credit on my credit cards. I may have a little bit left on my house, but maybe I make it 5-6 months. In the meantime, I poured about $700,000 into U.S. Medical in various forms and shapes, mainly my cash, my after-tax cash, in order that I could make a home run. If we still make that home run with the medical device company, I'm going to make about $10 million. I got 400,000 shares. We go out at $20 a share, that's $8 billion. So I could hit a big home run here. And I'm playing it that way, and I'm playing the card, and it's a big bluff. If I lose, well, what have I lost? What have I lost? Only my estate, only my money. And in the meantime, I used what was left of my substance, which won't last survive me in getting this done, along with the help of Howard and the other investor, and some little help here and there from other people, as their means were able to permit. So there it is. After I'm done, put it back on, please. After this book is done, if the money doesn't come, if I don't succeed in raising this money and capitalizing this thing, or at least getting a flow stream from shareholders through me for the long haul ride, where the return is not in 5 years or 10 years, but into the species time scale, and that's their investment. If I don't get that, or if I get that, I can continue. But I'm not really interested in a cash flow. I'm interested in getting that P2 company, a big investment company, capitalized for millions so that we have an income stream off of it and the resources to be able to set up a publishing and a distribution company in Cork, Ireland, where my ancestors come from. I picked Cork only because that's where my paternal grandfather came from, and I'd love to go there. Eric's been there. He said it's quite a nice little place. Ireland, great people. You too, Wardo. Okay. Oh, beautiful. I've only been to Dublin and to Waterford. I've never been down. I want to go down there. And I'd like to set up a little company, maybe set Eric up a shop there. He could be my distributor there. We could get the books out. We have the money. And guess what? These bastards want to come and get me. They got to come to Ireland. And if they get to Ireland, I got a paper trail where the money can go to. It can go to Liechtenstein and then to Morocco. And then from Morocco to Hong Kong. They'll never get it. They'll give up the chase. In the meantime, we're publishing this stuff. We're using the internet. And you know what? I've got one more thing to give you. One more thing to give you. Oh, geez, this is really appropriate. You know what? I'm just telling you. Quit quoting. Do you believe me when I say I can show you the quote? Okay, okay. You trust me. Okay, here we go. Colombo said in the ideological program, once you get past innovation, which is the first step, there's 4 steps in the ideological program, the product development program. Do you remember? You remember all that? Once you get past the first step, then you hit the disclosure barrier. And it's very difficult to disclose revolutionary knowledge. Look what's happening to me. You get persecuted, you get burned. Bruno got burned alive. Galileo was imprisoned. Roger Bacon was thrown in prison. All great men are punished and persecuted for disclosure. It goes with the territory, as they say these days, these yuppies. You get past I to E. Second step, E, education, educability. That's where people can learn the great cosmology and the theories from the innovators way up there at the top. They then put that into practice. That's your P1E here. That's in the second step. They get the operating company going. They get the capital. They organize all of this stuff. That takes place in step 2. But he said, once the book is published, and is able for dissemination, you have mass production electronically. These 3 little discs right here. That's it, right here. These 3 little guys right here. Go to the printers. Boom. They stick them in their machines. Everybody goes home to their dinners. I go back to stay in California, and the computers and technology and automation produces the whole damn book. It's a lights out operation. It's beautiful. That all can happen. Now, Colombo said, once you get past I and E, and you've got the capacity to mass produce your scribble duck, you come to the 3rd step of the ideological program, which is advertising. Advertising is, by definition, the creation and propagation of images and slogans, which bring to the attention of the unthinking masses the availability of products and services, which they may or may not buy, upon their discretion. And if it enhances their pursuit of happiness better than anything else, which we've got, they'll buy it. Now, he said, when you get past the first 2 steps of the ideological program, have you reached, how many people have you reached? Not very many. But when you look at the 4 boxes and you got past 2, it looks like you're halfway home, doesn't it? Because the last box, by the way, is maintenance or consumption, where through consumption you maintain you make viable the innovators up here and the entrepreneurs upstream where production is taking place. You know what Colombo said? Once you have the prototype, scribble duck, and you can mass produce it, your next step is advertising. He says, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the percentage of difficulty, 99% of the difficulty is over with. You only have 1% difficulty in creating the new concept of the majority, which Colombo defined as when the majority of the products of the world are produced through the primary mechanism, freedom is a foregone conclusion. You can't go back. You've won. We only have 1% difficulty facing us here. except I need the money. I need the money to fund that P2 in a big slug or in cash flow. But mainly capital, so I can set up an operation abroad. Because I know that these rats want this for nothing. I figured this out. Ernst Zundel told me, he said, let me tell you what this lawsuit is all about. That Jew, Frederick Marx, Galamos' former attorney, is leading this, running this whole operation. What does he want to do? He wants the book, and he wants it for nothing by court order. And they're not going to get it. I'm prepared to tell you, and I'm putting this on tape. If it comes to that, I'm going to tell the judge the following. Oh, Your Honor, I can't make the book available to these men because you see, Your Honor, the wisdom of your court is so powerful that you've actually convinced me that I am a hindrance to civilization and that I'm an enemy of the people. Therefore, in deference to your great wisdom, I have anticipated your decision. You have convinced me, and I have taken all of the theory and all my electronic files and these books, and I have destroyed them. So I can't be in contempt of court, Your Honor, because, well, I am agreeing with the wisdom of this court. It's gone. Now, am I telling the truth? No. It's the guy in the alley. They're sticking a pistol at me. Yeah. So, is it immoral for me to deceive them? Absolutely not. Is it a lie? No, it's not. I've just simply deceived them. And that's what I'll do. You know why? Because I don't give a damn about money, and I don't care about my personal security. I'm like Jesus. I'm on furlough from death, man. So count on it. This ain't going anywhere yet. Once I'm financed, and I'm going to start that program now, see if I can raise some money here, millions if I can do it, and I've got to put my mind to it. I can even go to Flatlanders. Galamos said you can raise money through the existing mechanisms of investment banking. He said he knew how to do it. I got to learn how. But if I can do that, and then we can make a contract where they get a revenue share, if I can do it, I probably won't. But I got to learn this stuff. Then we make our move. And once I do that, every one of you will have your own copies. And I'll even make an electronic copy to all of you. But if they find out that I've got it, I run the risk of betraying Galamos. And I'm not going to do it. We're not quite ready yet. But this is a celebratory meeting, and this is for the purpose of established publication of Galamos' book. And it's on videotape. We'll edit it. We'll take out the good stuff. We'll get most of the crap out. And then we've got something to prove. This is the date of the official publication of Galamos' theory, and I believe, Eric, we have an outline. I've been advised by an attorney that, actually it's the attorney that produced the trust for Galamos. His name is Paul McEwen. He was supposed to be here tonight. I don't know why he isn't here. And he told me that if, in Black's Law Dictionary, and he sent me a copy of it, it said that if you announce that you are finished with a book and you're publishing it and you give to your audience, a select audience, a private audience, an outline of what you've done, that will fit the definition of publication. Now, you never know what these damn courts will come up with, but that's good enough for me. Good enough for me. So let's see. The only people who should get this would be those who have prepaid for the book. Tom, you get one. Pete, Mike, James, Lee, Martin, Howard. Sorry. So if you want to pass those out, right? That's quite something. It's a complete outline of the whole thing. And it's really something. All of the puzzle pieces are there. All of them. Yeah, this concludes the meeting. You know, I can't get